Yeah.
Facebook. What's up?
What's your problem, Facebook?
What's up with Facebook? Come on, man.
I've got it just sort of cycling on my phone so I can see if it does.
I'm just getting all kinds of warnings on different stuff. Could be just an internet thing. No. It's fetching the video stream. God, it's just like such a... You know, life is good. It's fine.
Strange.
Well, I'm going to assume that it's going live. So yeah. I'm just going to say go live.
All right.
And it looks like we're dark, but wrong keyframe interval.
Wait, no, I just got a notification saying we just went live.
Okay. Are we live?
Yeah, well, that's what Facebook says.
Let me just double check here, so...
We'll just see about that face.
And... Hey, look at that, I think we're up.
Yeah?
I think we are up. Okay. So great.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do. I'm gonna go straight to you, my friend. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
That flavor you're savoring is live. That's right. It's 9:30 on a Tuesday night. Who just stepped up to the plate? It's Very Dad Ideas this week. What are we talking about on Very Dad Ideas? I'm glad you asked, my friend. We're talking about the gig economy and how it can feel more like a frog gig economy if you're from the Midwest and you hunt frogs with little tridents. Oh, it's my friends. Ah, the Autobots. What could you want?
Alrighty. All right, welcome back.
Cheers to you. Cheers to you, America.
Exactly.
Congratulations. You made it. You made it back.
We are now streaming live on all the networks. And my
all
hair
the
is
networks.
Totally poofy tonight. But
dude, can we just have is there a way we could get just a guy who could work just for the hour to make sure we get hair shots? That is a blonde Conan O'Brien up there.
A little poof, a little less poof. Aaron,
you do. You have sort of Conan. You have a Conan vibe about your hair.
I kind of do. I kind of. Right? Isn't that the?
You fucking know exactly what I'm talking about.
So you know, I told you before we started that our podcast is actually getting people to fucking listen to it, right? So we're getting more.
It's getting more play than.
So if you're listening to the podcast, watch the show. Damn it.
Yeah. I consider that a success. I could never get 43 people in a room. So yeah.
That's right. So tonight we're talking about the gig economy.
The gig economy. What is the gig economy? Because I just remember, 10 or 15 years ago, you just said I had a gig, and I don't know when that ever turned into an economy. I never thought of it that way.
It's
I
when
always
the
thought
gig
about
ended and you need to get another gig that it became.
That's the problem with the gig economy, Nye.
Let's throw some fireworks up on that.
Fireworks, ba-boom, ba-boom. Or we did it to ourselves. Is that what we should call it? I don't know.
I think. We're talking about the past, present, and future of the gig economy. But before we do that, Darren, boom! It's time for some DadVice.
Oh my God, that was such a brilliant segue. That is. Look at that. You brought it down. You had it all leveled out and shit.
It's all leveled out now. And we're back, and look at this. And our backgrounds are moving. Oh, we're killing it, Darren.
Dude, you're killing it tonight. This is 110% better show than I think people are normally used to getting anywhere.
You still need welcome. You still need to follow up your DadVice with your regular unborn
DadVice.
Thank you.
It's not good vice. It's not bad vice. It's somewhere in between. It's DadVice coming at you live tonight at 9:34 on a Tuesday night. We've got Nye Warburton giving you the DadVice.
Well, I'm kicking us off tonight for the DadVice. So what I wanted to bring into the table is a video from a guy that I saw, and our backgrounds are still not moving. The guy that I
How did it happen? It's because we talked about him.
We talked
Made
about
him
it.
self-conscious. Yeah.
The guy that I found on the internet. He's an artist and I guess just an artist, really. And his name is...
That's enough. Yeah,
that's enough. This guy right here is James Brittle. And he did a TED Talk. Did a TED Talk that's called The Nightmare Videos of Children's YouTube. What's Wrong with the Internet Today? And it really summed up very quickly what I'm trying to, what I wanted to bring up tonight was that there are these videos that are on YouTube. And if you go on, if you're a parent of any young child, you've probably already seen these videos. They are little videos about eggs where they take little toys out of the eggs, or they put them into a microwave, or they change the colors of it, or whatever. It's being viewed by, millions and millions and millions and millions of young children, and it's like this very, very addictive way to get kids to watch YouTube. And with the autoplay, these kids are just consuming massive and massive amounts of this sort of junky stuff. And what he showed was that over a period of just 10 YouTube streams, you could wind up going to like a masturbating Mickey, or something that you really don't want your kid to see because of the like-minded words that everyone is using to see these videos on. Yeah. So YouTube has become a very dangerous place. Even though the content is roping in these kids, you got to be really, really careful. So
of letting them fall down a tube hole or some sort of that is an excellent point, because I don't know, like, the YouTube is a brilliant app for your phone. Like if you're somebody who needs to hand off your phone and so the kid can watch a couple of videos. I don't have a data plan. My phone has a bigger hard drive than I have like data per month. Like the 3 gigs or whatever.
So you stop like listening to it as much or watching it as much, because you're
just not streaming it. So that thing I think is what we've done with our kid is it's like Netflix and. Like it's pretty benign. I mean, but you still have to watch like just the queuing up a next video, because you could start going on a project around your house or something like that. Like 2 hours go by and your kids watch like 10 episodes of Teen Titans, which again is a very funny show. It is a very funny show, and they have a movie coming out at the end of the month.
Teen Titans is also structured.
Absolutely,
content that you've chosen to sit down in. Like I think the concern is that you get stuck on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm taking this down a different tangent. What you're saying is pretty dangerous. Like to let your kid just sort of sit in front of something that's queuing up the next video.
Right.
And like you said, I mean that you could get a jerkin' Mickey or some like.
Or you could get two guys in their 40s who live stream, on a Tuesday.
You are not gonna. No one is. That's like a child is gonna instantly know to sort of avert their eyes and not let the badness get in there.
Get out.
Yeah,
of here.
just who are the guys in the black shirts? And the one guy is just guzzling beer. Oh, it's so nice.
I've got one tonight.
It's like the last of summer. I feel like all of a sudden the summer's gonna be over. Like it's already the end of July.
God, I hope. God, summer has just been really ass kicking for me.
Dude, I know what you mean, but what is so ass kickery about?
Oh, so should we go into our?
I don't know.
Before we finish up the DadVice, I want to say one thing.
Oh no, yeah, that's right, DadVice.
Is that Griff was every time he went to the potty, we were rewarding him by giving him the phone as opposed to giving him like a treat or whatever it is, and so as a result, we were giving him, and he started watching the YouTube that we had chosen, but instantly fell into this every single time, and we weren't aware. So that's why I really wanted to bring this to the table, because if you are a parent and you are putting YouTube in front of your kid, make sure that it's not these eggy little Chinese crazy things that are, because they are
make a playlist if you're gonna do that. Download that however you can do it. Yeah, control
the content. Control the content is what it
for the next couple of years, while we can still manage to do that before they figure out a way.
Before the robots and the AI come in anyways, right? I mean, we're all...
Just watch it on your skin.
I think it's just going to be...
Just pull up YouTube on some sort of like sleeve. It's going to be beamed
into your brain. You're just going to be like, right? I mean, it's just going to...
Climb into your little Matrix cell and just sort of plug the thing into the back of your head.
Yeah.
God, I love the Matrix.
And on that wonderful positive note, we're moving.
Yeah, no, and so we're going to segue into the gig economy, which is just can be soul crushing.
So so we both have, I guess, gig jobs as creatives or whatever.
Yeah.
Why don't you take your first
creative contractors? Yeah, maybe.
Why don't you take your first stab at what is the gig economy?
What is the gig economy?
Yeah.
That's really great because honestly, like the gig that I do is, well, sorry, it's a close up of me picking my eye. It's the gig that I do is just, you kind of come in last minute for sort of the touch up. Like it'll be like a voice or an on camera gig is sort of the same thing. It's at the very end of like the first phase of making some sort of ad or short film or whatever you're doing, and you sort of
that's
come
mainly
in
for commercial stuff, though. I would think for the ones that are more like creative or whatever, you'll be involved more earlier, right? Or I mean, no, at the very end,
it really depends. Like on my side, it's like the lower the budget on something, the more you'll be involved in stuff because maybe they're looking to sort of
get more out of you.
Yeah, they want to mine. They want to mine you for a couple of jokes or a couple of ideas for how they're gonna advertise for something. But I feel like that's more rare, and you sort of get that at sort of the introductory sort of stage of doing jobs, like non-union jobs, where you're just sort of they're trying to figure out.
So they literally are like, you show up, they hand you the script, and they're like, please read it like this. You've got 5 minutes, go, and
and especially with like voiceover stuff, they just they want sort of the kitchen sink of all of the ways they're going to build their 20 seconds or 30 seconds of whatever their message is for an audio ad.
Right.
Yeah, I mean you wind up sort of it's not like they hired you they hired you because the take you gave during the audition got you in, but then they're going to get like all the ranges of that take that they can get.
Yeah.
When they feel they have that, they'll let you go. I mean, usually, it depends on how you've negotiated the job. The gig is over when you leave, or some places, you have to come back. You can come back and do a couple of pickups. You can build that in. But eventually that job ends, and then it's not like, even if it was a union job, it's not like you would call SAG-AFTRA and be like, okay, great, we'll send you. Here's your paycheck for, no one gets that. So you just have another period where you don't work until you nail another gig.
Right. So you come out of this and then you call your agent and you go, hey, it went well. What else is next?
Right. That's and for me, it's like you don't call your agent with that because they're just constantly, you get a push notification on any number of, it's usually your email or you get a text from them, that's just changed in the last 8 years, but before that it was always you're just constantly on the phone, sort of listening to voicemails. People don't do voicemails anymore, really. You just call people or it's text, right? I mean,
yeah.
It's I don't know,
a little bit different on my end. I guess it's because animation is so labor intensive, right? That you go in and
give me an idea of that. So 10 seconds of animation.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what it is. I mean, if it's character animation, it's more. If it's high end, if it's CGI, it's more complex.
So sort of the medium of the animation.
So very often I do previs, which I'm used to kind of understanding how much I'm going to take home on a weekly rate, and so you kind of pitch your
previs is like animated storyboards.
It's like animated storyboard. It's basically you rough out the action as quickly as possible to throw cameras in, but it can be fairly polished work because they're using it to sell to the executives. So a visual effects supervisor will visualize or pre-visualize something, and then they'll take it to the executives and say, this is what the final movie is kind of going to look like. Are you going to clear $10 million for me to be able to make it with the big effects? And so since previs is very close to the beginning of the budget cycle, whereas animation is at the very end where they're just kind of like, what? Why is it costing that? So previs has been okay, though as of late it seems like it's been a little rough. But it's also very interesting that there's a number of shops now. When I started, it was 2008 or 2007 or whatever. I was one of the few guys that would show up to a studio with my laptop. And now they've been aggregated into these little shops that control all the different people. And so you have to go and you have to sort of apply to the shop because they've already landed the gig. And so you come in and then they're like, hey, you know, we have a bid on the whatever cat movie at Warner's. And you're like, has it landed? And they're like, well, we don't know, but we're going to need 5 animators, so are you available? But then another studio says, hey, we've got a bid on the robot movie over at Sony and blah, blah, blah. Are you available? I'm like, well, I just told the cat movie people that I'm going to do whatever. Like, well, we're going to put you on second hold. None of this means crap. It's just sort of like, well, they're going to put you on hold and not pay you anything, and then they'll get mad at you if you're not there when the movie lands, or if it doesn't.
Right. If it lands. And if it doesn't, you go away.
Well, it's not even that. They don't even call back, usually.
Right.
And then if they land something else, they're like, oh, you know, I'm really sorry I didn't call back on that other thing where... And so there's this real... And this is the problem that I'm kind of going through right now because, you know, I'm between jobs, as they say, where I put in, hey, I'm going to work on this or whatever. Hey, this ground's great. We're going to ramp up. And then it's like completely radio science. Now, granted, I have to wait days for them to get back to me, but it's like it's not their priority. So
no, they got to fill their niches, right? They have like those 5 seats that they got to fill, and if you're not one of those 5, like, you don't need to worry about you.
But I mean, in the 1950s, as an animator, like the Disney guys, they would come in with their pipes or whatever. They'd be like, "Goodbye, honey. I'm off to do my 3 seconds of animation per week with my pencil and my flipping." Right. That shit does not exist at all anymore.
Yeah, it's gone.
It's very rare that you get, you know, full-time work or whatever. It's generally you come in, kind of like you said, is to just like, you know, build it, do as much as you can, you know.
Right.
I mean, the problem that I feel that about the gig economy, that what you were saying is that there's an awful lot of ideas that are coming in as a gig, and you're being paid as a gig, but they're kind of like glossing over the writing process by taking multiple people and just squeezing out ideas of the gig people that they're paying. And so
they spend a lot of money, it sounds like, in the chain just to sort of kick an idea around. When really, if you had a script, right? Like,
yeah. Or if you
they're all the ideas, they're in the script.
Right. It's a mindset that we're headed towards. I was talking to Lisa earlier tonight. We're going to do gig economy, and she was bringing up about how nurses have side hustles. They sell makeup on Facebook, kind of like an Amway thing where they sell makeup.
Right on.
And
no, you know, I've seen shit like this on Facebook, man. I know people. Yeah.
It's a regular hustle that a lot of the nursing community does, and I think we're headed that way. And that's what we were talking about, is that we're going towards this thing where everybody's just hawking shit
all the time,
the thing, and like that's just how you're going to be. There's not going to be a company selling products. It's going to be everybody like, I'm selling underwear, and Darren is selling.
And I'm selling it within my circle. You know, I have these. Yeah. I guess we'll all do that for a while, right? I mean, it seems like that's where we've, you know, because we've been working the whole time. That's where we've all pushed this.
Yeah, but I've been working it for companies still, and I think you know, like, are we going to have to, or am I going to be hawking? I mean, I don't know. I mean, is it going to be, I'll be at home and I'm just going to be animating 3 seconds for somebody and then they'll pay me, and that, you know, who knows how this is going to evolve.
Right. Eventually you just don't even leave your house and you just like animate and just send that stuff off. And they wouldn't want to pay for the space to house you. But then they run the risk of not having your hard drives and stuff. Right?
Well, yeah, right now that's the problem, is that they want to control everything using the, you know, so
cloud. They just want to do the cloud thing. Yeah.
Well, they're also worried about people stealing it or putting files online or doing whatever.
Which is everybody's going to want to do. It's like a skateboarder doesn't go skating and, like, you know, where there's nobody around to watch them. They go where the people are. So,
right.
You know,
if you're going to build these, kicked in the balls and whatever.
Yeah.
So did you know, like, when you said, hey, you know, I mean, I guess there was never really a point where you're like, I'm going to be an actor, right? But were you ever at this point where you thought, man, I guess I'm going to have to do gig to gig, and that's just what it's going to be
the rest of my goddamn life? Yeah. That's the part that you don't think about. You know, but I mean, it's the thing is that used to be sort of a unique feeling, and I think that there's so much more of it now. it used to sort of feel special that like you were just like very, like musicians had gigs and actors and comics had gigs.
Right.
And that's what I liked. I liked that thought. And then, we all had our side hustles and stuff.
But now
like that.
everyone is like an Uber driver, I mean, it's
it's like you figured out a way to like, just make your car into smell like a cab.
Yeah.
I was just reading about this thing, right? Because like they do this. There's a thing Uber drivers do. It's called was it like the puke fraud? If you don't like it, I was just reading something online about it. There were the people, you can get like a automatic $150 out of people to clean up your car if somebody pukes in it.
Oh really? So Uber puking?
Yeah, puke fraud.
Fee or fraud?
But that's like there's a side hustle of a side hustle, right?
It's called vomit fraud.
Vomit fraud. There you go. Yeah.
Oh God, Uber is just such a weird thing.
It's just made us weirder, man. It's just made us fucking weird as shit.
Yeah, that's just the way things are. Well, let's call your friend up, my friend. And
damn you! I'm going in slow motion. Like I know that he doesn't even have a lightsaber. Because he's Tubby Vader.
He's Tubby Vader. Well, if you are out there on the networks, please say hello to us. I don't think we have anybody on anything.
Why would we have anybody?
Why would we have anybody? But if those who are listening to us on the podcast, thank you very much. Come join us live sometime, would you?
Yeah.
God.
Step into the ring.
Say with that?
I know. Last year, my sister-in-law stepped in and said hello.
Nice.
That was a pretty big room for us. That was pretty good.
Well, thank you very much, Tubby Vader. We're going to do some Jen
Thank
Remington.
you, Tubby Vader.
We do some Jen Remington. We got a special segment with our correspondent coming back.
Yeah, we do. We have a very important.
Oh, Lisa joined. We'll see you in a minute, Lisa.
Nice!
Side hustle.
At least one,
All right. So we're coming back. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, and here we go.
Yes, pardon me. I'm just going to commandeer your show for a moment. Good people of Earth, I'm ShockDave, VDI correspondent to the stars.
Yeah, welcome, ShockDave, to the program. We're very excited to have you now more permanently member of the show. What's on tap for tonight?
Well, I thought I would have a few queries, a few questions, if you will, of the general public. Yeah, I've got some questions. Is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
You don't have to cut me off like that. I'm ShockDave. Damn you.
ShockDave, who is our legal name correspondent. All right, well, fire away.
I am a legal lawyer, Mr. Warburton. And this pistol here is my plume.
All right. What do you got? What do you got?
All right. Here's a quote for you. I'm going to ask you a quote, and then I will give you a series of response. It's a multiple choice, is what I'm trying to say. Okay. What's up, Toolkit? That's the question. What's up, Toolkit?
Okay. What's up, Toolkit? All right.
Yeah. Who said that? Is it A, a Constructicon, B, your co-worker, C, your mother, or D, all of the above?
Let's see. What's up, Toolkit? Well, I would.
The answer is D, all of the above. Ha! In your face. In your face, Warburton.
Well, great. I was going to say the Constructicons, but I think everybody My mother, I think, probably said that on occasion too. So you're absolutely right. So do you get points for that? I mean, what
no points awarded to you.
Okay, no
none.
Points. All right,
none. But you have another chance to redeem yourself, and Aaron.
All right, what is your next question?
Very well, very well. Okay. We are going to have the Air Force, and we are going to have the Space Force. Separate but equal. It's going to be something.
So you want me to guess who said that, right? Okay, do I have options,
yes.
or should I
yes, you do have options. Are you ready?
All right.
Ready?
Okay,
Silence! Silence! When I tell you the options. Is it A, Megatron? B, Shockwave? C, your Earth Fresh President, Donald Trump? Or D, all of the above?
Well, I don't think anybody...
The answer is D! All of the above. See what I did there? See what I did there? Fleshling.
I was going to say that, no one would say anything so stupid as a president as to say Space Force. So I was going to say Megatron, but I guess apparently our president did say Space Force.
All of us have said it at one time or another.
Right, I see.
You don't know what it takes to face space.
You're right.
Do you?
No,
Do you?
I have no.
Do you, Warburton?
I have no clue. All right, so
never mind. There's an Earthling here, and he Earth coughed near the microphone.
All right, so what is our next?
The third one is my last one for this evening. And Iron.
Oh, I'm so sad.
Here we go. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for the end? The end.
I am ready. Let's do it.
Here we go. Here we go. It is one of the blessings of old friends that you can afford to be stupid with them.
Very.
Now, who said that? Who said that?
It's a very apropos quote.
Was it C, Shockwave? It's ShockDave. Excuse me.
ShockDave, right. Okay.
Was it B, Megatron? Or was it C, Ralph Waldo Emerson? Or was it D, all of the above?
I think it's probably...
The answer is all of the above!
Yes. It is
Megatron is one of my dearest friends.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that Megatron was such a poet.
When we were constructing the space bridge, Anarin, we had such a time. We would sit and
quoting poetry back and forth, doing
and play, and it was wonderful. Not the Megatron he is now. He must be stopped, no matter the cost. Yes, I don't know who said that. I have no idea. And that's all I have for you today. And Aaron.
Well, thank you very much.
I bid you good day.
Good day to you as well. Well, Darren, that was our correspondent, ShockDave. He's going to be a regular segment on our show, which
I guess that's your problem, buddy. Doesn't sound like a good thing.
That
fellow's downright abusive.
He was pretty abusive. Totally. Let us. What do you think about us going into a live draw?
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, let's do that. And we're going back into our analog school here.
Yeah, this is great. I think this is great.
I mean, I enjoy this. I enjoy this stuff.
Oh, you have to clean that up though, because you're hanging over there. I can see that other whatever that is. It's terrible. What is that? What's that huge sliver? There it is. I'm not even doing it right. You are so embarrassed right now.
I am.
That's why I don't have a job. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I know.
Slam me when I'm down.
Okay. I know, right there when you.
How about that? All right.
Hey, look, you did it. I just was giving you shit just because it's fun.
Alrighty. So what are we drawing?
Okay. Yeah. What are we gonna draw?
And I just went in and I got a whole bunch of pencils.
You should just draw like two hobos.
Perfect.
Two hobos with laptops.
Hobos with laptops. Okay.
That's what we're turning into. We're turning into hobos with laptops.
Yeah, that is pretty much true. So
just reading that whole thing about I don't know why we've all gone and like insisted on having these thin computers. We all have to have these incredibly thin laptops, and
everything needs to be better, faster. So our hobos.
Well, and they're never that fast when they can't like dissipate heat. Like those things are thin, but they're just like
Are hobos clowns, or are they just?
Is a hobo a clown? If we had this would be a question we could ask our live draw audience, but I don't think we have anybody, do we?
I don't know. Is my
So
wife still
it's here's a question for you, America. Is a hobo, what is it?
I think they're old school homeless people, she said. So,
Yeah, that's what I think they are.
all right. So this is kind of like, I don't know, kind of look a little Matt Groening-ish, but I'm gonna make him.
It's a sweet bowler hat. This is good.
5
It's
o'clock shadowy.
he definitely needs a shave.
Yeah, and I guess we'll put him like on a train or something, right?
Yeah, they'd have to be sitting in a boxcar with their laptops.
Right. Yeah, I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed actually drawing on paper in the last few days. It's like you start to forget that that's the whole reason you kind of got into it in the first place.
Well, that is sort of how, I mean, right? I mean, that was the tool growing up. I mean, I used to draw on pencil and paper, but like it's all, like you said, there's nobody who has the flip jobs anymore from Disney. Nobody wants that.
No, I mean, all the animators at Disney are, I mean, I don't even think they have a 2D department anymore. They're all doing 3D stuff these days. Let me do this guy. All right, so that's one hobo. You notice I gave him a Mac?
Yeah.
This is really kind of faded. I don't know.
But it's like a Mac, but it kind of looks like maybe it's a cash sign.
Yes, exactly.
This is it's just bank.
Right. So
I thought it was interesting because I was reading this article about how, like in our insistence for having like this sleek looking MacBook or thin laptop that looks really cool but actually performs pretty shitty. Like I love a desktop computer because it can dissipate heat. Like I can play a video game at like screaming like video graphics or whatever, right? It looks perfect.
Yeah.
It's because it can deal with the heat. I mean, you could fry a few things. You could have a little side hustle going on here where I could be making eggs.
Yeah, I mean,
on my graphics card.
Delicious eggs.
Delicious eggs for America.
I just read an article that said that our graphics cards are starting to get cheaper. They were like prohibitively expensive for a while.
Yeah, because of the blockchain stuff,
all cryptocurrency mining.
Cryptocurrency mining.
Yeah, but now it's looking like that's sort of coming down because of what the way cryptocurrency.
Oh, that would be awesome if we could have another guy in the background cooking like a can of beans on his laptop.
Yeah, so we'll put another.
There's no way we can do that. We've already.
No, there's always a way.
Always a way to include, man, heating and eating beans off of his laptop.
This guy kind of looks like a fisherman or something, but.
Well, he's definitely more of a millennial. He's got that beard that they all love.
Oh yeah. What
yeah.
is it about the beards, man?
Dude, they just shut up. They're old, and their beard makes them old. That's my new theory is why they have the whole insist. I couldn't possibly. Face gets so itchy after like just a week.
I shaved tonight.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you, Nye. It shows. You look good.
I do look good, right? Yeah.
Yeah. No, you got to clean up. I mean, that's. I feel like you. If I don't shave my beard, I look like I'm about to die. My beard is so just scary looking. Like one patch of color and the rest of it's just pure silver. It's just awful.
Alrighty.
I look like my life force has run out.
So these are our hobos on a train. Yeah, see, I mean, like I can just like sketch and crosshatch and do things much faster here. I guess I just need a better.
And I need it faster. Now I need you to do this a lot. I mean, we're gonna be punching out VDI merchandise left and right up this. Boom! I've already got orders. I've got orders. I gotta get this on a shirt.
Yeah, this is now the gig economy that we're on.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can.
Why wouldn't it be?
Let me put this here. I'm gonna sign this off. VDI 2018. I don't know. I'm okay with.
I'm looking to get a job at Daewoo. Hey there, fella.
Is that right? There are two hobos on a laptop on it, and if you're on the fucking podcast. Watch it. We're gonna put this on. We're gonna put this on Instagram.
Yeah, you can't get this from the podcast. You're missing out. This is.
But we love our podcast listeners. So if you're listening, thank you very much.
Yeah, my God, thank you.
Transients. Thank you, Lisa. And so let's go back to our main screen.
Let's do it. Let's get back. Let's get out of here. Let's leave that behind in the dust.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that was our live draw. You can find all of our live draws on our Instagram. So make sure you go to our Instagram and do that. We're going to take another quick break where you can listen to some Jen Remington.
Jen Remington. Oh,
you can
the voice and the noises that come out.
Find her at heydog.com. And then we'll be right back and we'll do some recommendations.
Recommendation.
Well, let's have ourselves come back. We are coming back, and boom.
Jen Remington, folks. HeyDog.net. HeyDog with 2 G's.
It's actually HeyDog.com.
It's .com. We're .net people. She's .com.
We are .net people. You saw that, right?
I saw it.
This is a good enough time to mention this. I may as well. I've decided to start drawing comics again, seeing as I have more time with my life right now.
but it's so great that you can, right? I mean,
yeah. So if you want to join in, I'll be uploading all of my comics at Nyetoon, NYETOON.net.
Web it over there. Why don't you?
Yeah, so there will be comics eventually, or maybe by the time you hear this, there will be. I'm going to be migrating all of the .com comics that I lost. That's another story. That's another episode. Let's do some business.
Yeah, dude, I was surprised by that post.
Yeah, no, it went down. Maybe another episode I'll tell you what happened to.
We should talk about the next show.
Okay, so let me just do some business before we get into our last
little
bit.
Business.
Okay, so you can find us at verydadideas.com. All the episodes have been updated at this particular point as of 7/24/2018 at 10:08 p.m. They are all there. You can go find the guy over there at darrenjennings.net.
There's no reason to go over there, though. There's nothing. I haven't updated that thing in like 8 years.
Yeah, but
I have to do something. I have to do something.
You should, and I'll help you. And then you can find me at nightwarburton.com, and of course our music is done by the lovely Jen Remington on heydog.com. All of our archives at the YouTube channel, Very Dad Ideas, or verydadideas.buzzsprout.com. We're also on iTunes and what the fuck is that called? Spotify, right? And then we go live 9:30, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope and Twitter. We're made with a variety of Adobe products. We use OBS Studio. We stream to the networks using Restream. We talk with Voicemeter Demand and Discord. But we love all of our podcast listeners because we have 43 on our last one. So thank you for listening.
Yeah, that was great. That was amazing.
Okay, so D, we're going to talk about some recommendation. Do you have one, or would you like me to kick us off?
I'm sorry. I fell down another YouTube hole. We're just
gonna do this for the next 6 minutes.
I think that's just It's just how, like, I don't know, people used to, like, reach for a cigarette in the morning when they, like, roll out of bed. Now it's just grab your phone.
I think this is just, like, the fatherhood sound where you're just like, oh.
It's fine because no one can hear you because, like, you're sort of coming online. You're like, wake up and you get the, like, whiff of how old you smell. And you're just like, oh, God. I'm trapped in this old man's body.
Oh, man. Okay, so my recommendation this week is Won't You Be My Neighbor? Which is the Mr. Rogers documentary. I was I was in the a few blocks from here, and I was hot as hell. It was like 100 degrees, and I walked past this like movie theater, and it was like $7 for a movie matinee. It was an hour and a half, and I was like, okay, I'm just going for the air conditioning. Yeah. Cut to me 10 minutes later, bawling my eyes out, just tears coming out. This guy was a fucking genius, and I don't think we ever really appreciated it probably when he was here, but this guy had a vision for what television was. He knew how to talk to kids, and he went to a place that I thought was really amazing. Like, he talked about suicide, he talked about death, he talked about depression, he talked about like real issues and put real things in front of kids and like really shaped some really crazy stuff. So if you grew up with Mr. Rogers like I did, I'm sure you probably had some.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I mean,
yes, I did.
I've been wanting to see this. I haven't seen it, and it's I've been wanting to see this, and it's amazing because it is playing in.
Yeah. Into the air conditioning. I'm probably I'm gonna take my wife to see it because it's amazing, or at least we'll wait till it comes on. But it was really, really excellent. I feel like it's definitely worth your effort to go out and see it. So if you haven't seen this and you're listening to the podcast or watching the show, go check out "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" The Mr. Rogers.
It's just really good. I mean, everyone's probably read a little bit about this man, like, you know, and we've all been affected and touched, especially, you know, us people in our 40s and people older than us. Like,
yeah,
like they definitely. You grew up, you watched this guy, and It's funny how I forget that he did. I didn't know he did shows on suicide, but I'm sure I watched. Watched the show.
He probably watched the show, and he had the ability to connect with kids. And he never put on a funny hat. He used puppets, but he had a great sense of humor, and he was also like, you know, an ordained minister, but no one knew that. And there's also the other thing that I found was especially touching, and I don't want to spoil too much about it, is that during the period where so he had was it a black cop that was on the show or whatever, and he shared he shared his kiddie pool feet and he was basically making a statement to all the people who were out at that particular time who weren't sharing their pools with black people. And so Mr. Rogers was making an example. And I just thought it was fantastic. It's really, really fantastic. So I don't want to go on and on about it, but you should check it out. It's really worth it.
Well, you know, I was on the fence lazy about, you know, seeing any movies in any theaters, but I think I would like to support that.
Yeah.
So I think I am definitely converted on that. My recommendation is actually you know, sort of the same kind of thing. It's the Robin Williams one on HBO, Come Inside My Mind, and it is. I'm about halfway through it, and it's really interesting how they've put this all together. But it's fascinating to watch. There's bits of it I've seen. There's bits of it that everybody's seen before.
I've seen a lot.
Gotten a hold of some of the outtakes of Mork and Mindy that, you know, sort of made their way around, like in the early 80s, that everyone maybe got a chance to see.
I mean, what's the takeaway? Do you feel like you like
halfway through, like we're sort of, he's sort of made we haven't even really moved into the 90s. It's just about his comeback from Mork and Mindy. So there's a lot in it. It's chock full of early stuff. They have a lot of time to do the early stuff. I feel like they're not making this one about, you know, his end, and I think it's more about, like, especially the sort of meteoric rise to power, and it really is power, because he just did shit that nobody did.
Yeah.
and you really see it well documented, and it's fascinating. If you have HBO,
like, he just committed to the ideas.
He went on to Happy Days. He was doing stand-up comedy on the street.
Yeah,
he did that episode of Happy Days, and that was it.
That changed everything.
Yeah, but he did that show that night, and all 300 people in the test audience that night gave him a standing ovation. Nobody ever did that. It's just he did a different thing,
but he showed us as a spaceman on Happy Days. It's crazy. Yeah. Very interesting stuff. Okay, cool. All right.
Well, it all happened because one of the producers' kids was like into Star Wars, so he wanted a spaceman. He wanted to see a spaceman. So that's how. And it's a fascinating. It just sort of shows you. Yeah, well, it's a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story, and and again, like I'm halfway through it, and I'm like, Robin Williams is another one of those people who just sort of lived large in our collective consciousness, especially 20 years.
Yeah, and when Lisa and I guess, got married 4 years ago, was the time where he killed himself. We got the news right when we were about to go on our safari, so it was, brilliant person, very tragic story, interesting.
Very tragic story, but the biography of it is they've got everybody. They're talking to his first wife. They're talking to his second wife. We haven't gotten to the third wife yet, because I think it was his last wife. But they talked to both of his half brothers. It's fascinating, and it's well worth I think it's hour 40, something like that. Cool. It's great.
All right, well, that is our show for tonight. With that, please join us next week. We will be back at 9:30, same old time. But subscribe to the podcast. It sounds like the podcast is the way that people like enjoying our content. So
and then once you've listened to the podcast and you're like, oh, I gotta have some of that sweet ShockDave. That's when you web it over to.
That's right. ShockDave is definitely going to be part of this show. So either tune out or embrace it. It's going to be a thing, folks.
Yeah, well, he has a gun, so he gets to call the shots, doesn't he?
Literally.
You saw him. He had a little gun, the size sort of looked like him.
Well, I for one can't wait. So
I can't either.
We will see you, and you'll see us next week at the same.
Join us next time, won't you?
There you go. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.